Right now, without trying, your brain can reach back 10 years. Pull out the single most embarrassing thing you have ever done and play it in full color. You didn't ask for it. You were just lying in bed, almost asleep, and suddenly your whole body tenses. You maybe make a small sound out loud, and you are living inside a moment that everyone else forgot the same day it happened. That is the strange part. Everyone else forgot. The people in that memory moved on within hours, but you kept it. You filed it. Your own mind built a private museum of your worst moments and appointed itself the tour guide, opening the doors at 2 in the morning when you are least able to defend yourself. So why does this happen? Why does a brain that can barely remember what you ate on Tuesday hold a perfect, high-definition recording of the time you waved back at someone who was waving at the person behind you? The answer goes back long before that memory, all the way to who we are as a species. Start with the feeling itself. Embarrassment. As far as we can tell, you belong to the only animal on Earth that feels it. A dog can feel fear. A wolf can feel rank and submission, but no other creature turns red, looks at the ground, and wishes it could disappear because of something it did in front of others. In 1872, Charles Darwin wrote an entire book on human expression, and he called blushing the most peculiar and the most human of all expressions. He could not find it in any other animal. Blushing needs something rare. It needs a brain that can imagine what other minds are thinking about it. To be embarrassed, you have to step outside yourself, see yourself through someone else's eyes, and care about what they see. That ability is one of the most advanced things your mind does, and the cringe is the price you pay for having it. Now here is the first twist, and it is almost funny. The audience you are so afraid of barely noticed. In the year 2000, a psychologist named Thomas Gilovich ran a now famous study at Cornell University. He made students walk into a room wearing a deeply embarrassing t-shirt, a big photo of the singer Barry Manilow. Then he asked them to guess how many people in the room had noticed the shirt. On average, they guessed about half. The real number was closer to a quarter. Most people never clocked it at all. Gilovich called this the spotlight effect. You feel like there is a spotlight following you, lighting up every mistake for a crowd. But everyone else is starring in their own movie, worrying about their own spotlight. Barely an extra in yours. The audience in your most painful memory was never really watching. So why does your brain act like the whole tribe saw and judged and remembered forever? Because for almost all of human history, they would have. For 300,000 years, you did not live among strangers. You lived in a small band, the same faces every day, for your entire life. And in that world, your reputation was not vanity, it was survival. The group decided who got a share of the meat, who was trusted on the hunt, who found a partner, and who got protected when things went wrong. One humiliating mistake in front of that group could lower your standing. Lose enough standing, and you could be pushed to the edge of the group, or out of it. And being cast out of your band, alone on the savannah, was a death sentence. So evolution wired your brain to treat a social mistake the way it treats a physical threat. To track, with painful precision, every moment you might have dropped in the eyes of the people who kept you alive. The cringe is that tracking system. It replays the mistake so you study it, so you never repeat it, so the group never gets a reason to turn away. This also explains something you have probably noticed. Open your personal cringe collection, and most of it is from your teenage years. There is a reason for that. The neuroscientist Sarah Jane Blakemore has spent her career showing that in adolescence, the social brain goes into overdrive. The teenage mind becomes extraordinarily sensitive to being judged, to fitting in, to status among other teenagers. Evolution turned that dial up at exactly the age when you were leaving your parents and trying to find your own place in the group. So your brain recorded those years in extra detail, with the volume on every embarrassment turned all the way up. Decades later, those are the tapes it still plays. And it plays them when you are doing nothing. When you lie down and stop concentrating, your brain does not switch off. It slips into what neuroscientists call the default mode network, the system that runs when you are not focused on a task. This is where the mind wanders, reviews the past, and rehearses the social world. And because of a quirk called negativity bias, it does not rehearse your proudest moments. It returns, again and again, to the threats, the mistakes, the moments that once could have cost you the group. At 2 in the morning with no task to hold your attention, the ancient threat detector has nothing to do but open the museum. So here is what the cringe actually is. It is not proof that you are broken or awkward or worse than everyone around you. It is proof that you were built to belong. That tightening in your chest is a 300,000-year-old alarm doing its job, guarding your place in a group that in almost every case was never going to throw you out over a clumsy wave. And the people in that memory, they are gone. They forgot it the day it happened, exactly the way you forgot theirs. You are the only one still standing in that room, still under a spotlight that switched off a decade ago, still apologizing to an audience that already went home. You can finally turn off the light. You can let them leave. And you can walk out of a museum you never had to build.